Hiya folks, welcome back to Fishing with Den again. Right, well today I'm on the river. Not a river I fish very often, and certainly I haven't fished this swim for probably 5 years. Part of the reason for that is, as you can probably see down below, it's shallow at the edge. Tide is just on the turn now, so a bit more about that in a second, but basically I've come out here because I wanted to catch a few bigger fish. Since the floods last year, all the ponds around my area got flooded, and they all seem to have those smaller fish, sort of from that size to about this size, sort of 4 pound. Occasional ones sort of 6 to 8 pounds, but mostly they're small. The rivers, and particularly this one, I've actually caught some really good fish on in the past. This one, I think my biggest is up to about 18 pounds, and I caught that on a float, but basically a rod and a half length out. Not in this swim, there's one a bit further down, and it was fishing in about that much water. Now obviously at this point in time we're high and dry, so if I catch a fish it's going to be a little bit problematic. I may have to just sort of reach out over there. I've got the 4.5 metre landing net pole with me. Just have a quick check to see how far that will go. Yeah, at this point I should be able to just about get to the water. Now the tide is supposed to be coming in about now, he said, hopefully. But anyway, that's the plan. I want to catch a few bigger fish. I've got 2 areas to fish, and now we'll talk about the bottom. As you can see, we're on a bend, the outside of a bend, but it just slides off very, very slowly. Once the tide comes in, probably going to get 2 or 3 feet down here, but at the moment at about 18, 20 meters, something like that. Basically what I've got is just a gradual slide off, and then it drops down a little bit like that. Then it goes deeper and deeper, and I'm going to fish one line at that bit where it just drops off and it flattens off a bit. But then when you get out to about 30 plus meters, it basically just keeps going down. Now I have cheated a little bit. I use the fish finder thing, the deeper chirp, and out at about 40 meters it's about 23-25 feet deep, and it probably gets substantially deeper further there, over there. Up that way I've had sort of 35 meters before, not too far out, and up that way I believe it's probably even up to about 60 meters deep in places, but that's another story. It is tidal, obviously, because you can see the flats down there, and as usual what I've done, I've taken the time while I was waiting for the tide to come in to put 6 feederfuls out on the main line, which is the Free Spirit one, big old feederfuls. But I've also got this little puddle chucker here. Sorry about the motorbike, there's a road behind me. This is a 12-foot puddle chucker carp feeder from back in the day, and I've resurrected it because I like it. It's got a great action and it's got plenty of power in it. But never let it be said that I ever buy the most expensive tackle. Now admittedly the Free Spirit one is a lot more expensive, but this probably cost about 90 quid back in the day, maybe even less. The reel cost me 50 quid, it's the MAP reel. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some bait on and we'll get out there. I can still get the net in down there, so might as well start. As I say, I've put the feederfuls out there, so that's it. But the interesting thing today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to fish with these chickpeas. Now these start off pretty small in a dehydrated bag, and then you prepare them. And what I've done with this one is these have got turmeric powder on them. I left them overnight in the fridge to marinate, if you like. But as they come out of the process, they are sort of this size, which is a bit bigger than Sweetcorn, and they're actually substantially more durable. Obviously they'll come off if you catch a fish, but what I've also done, I've coloured a few. Again, I left it in for a few hours. The dye does come out eventually, but hey, for the amount of time they're going to be in there, I should be fine. But I've also, and this is why they're in the sticky bag, I marinated them in the molasses that we were talking about in the last episodes or 2. And when I took them out, they'd all shrunk. You won't be able to see these, and I ain't taking them out just for now, but let's see if I can get a couple sort of like you can see. Right, there's a standard size, and there's a small one. You may not be able to see it, but they seem to have shrunk while they were marinating. Not quite sure why, and I don't know what sort of bait they're going to be. But we're going to start off. I'm going to put a couple of these turmeric ones on the hook, and we'll get out there and we'll get started. Okay, I got a couple of these. Just so you know, chickpeas come in two halves, so make sure you go in crossways. Don't go down through the split between them, and push that through. And a little bit difficult to see on these because they've got the turmeric on. Push that through, and we have got, if I get this out properly, there we are. Oh, another thing about turmeric is make sure you rinse your fingers, because you don't want to get this stuff in your eyes. It's not as bad as chili, but it's not great either. Got some ground bait, I've got some hemp seed, I've got some wheat. It was all left over from the summer because it's still winter here now. I've still got the vest, the t-shirt and the jumper on, and I've got a coat behind me. But I've got hemp seed in there, and I've got some wheat, and I'm going to cast out. Just go to that short swim to start with, and it's probably only 3 feet deep at this point in time. But hey, in this river, I catch in all sorts of depths, so. Now you may wonder why I'm clipped up, because if I do get a bite, and it's a big fish, it will strip line. But that's because I'm using what's called the ACS clip, this automatic release clip system, which I've spoken about many times before. And that will release automatically. On the other one, which is the Matrix Horizon, I won't be clipped up because that's a recipe for disaster. Right, we're in. Let's see how we go. I'll just get my cameras all sorted out so you can see what's going on. Get zoomed in. Get myself a cup of tea, I think, and we'll take it from there. Gonna have to wait for a while, guys, so I'm having a sandwich and a cup of tea. The tide's not going out at the time it's supposed to, but there's an egret that's just walked across in front of me there. You can maybe see him on the GoPro there. But you can see it's only up to his elbows, and that's probably about that long, and that's how deep it is right out there. So we're gonna have to wait a short while. It's gonna be a fairly short session because it's probably, what time is it? Actually, it's 12:30 already, so probably won't get fishing till 1 o'clock by the look of this. Give it 3 hours and see how we go. Well, looks like I've got a friend. He's just down here as a magpie, and if I get this right, you might be able to see him just there. He's eating chickpeas, look. I think you might get him on that camera. Don't think you'll get him on that one. See if you can get me to go a bit further forward, look. Oh. There you go. There you go. Tide's just starting to come in a bit now. It's probably risen about 1 inch so far. There you go, bird, you ready? Oh, there you go. Got to do something when you're not fishing, aren't you? Very confident magpie. We'll see if we can get him just down in front of us a bit so you can maybe see him. Luckily I've got plenty of chickpeas, so we'll be alright. And it's something to do, isn't it? There you go, mate. Don't know if he'll come that close. He's thinking about it. Yep, there he goes, look. He's watching me. There he is. Make sure he retreats. Anyway, look, the tide's starting to come in now, so I've been putting an odd bit of bait out there, here and there. Trouble is, even at this, I'm likely to find that it's too shallow to get the net in. I did have one fish, which I haven't told you about, but I had all sorts of struggle getting over that mud. I thought I'd got enough room there, but I didn't. So I'll give it another few minutes, another few inches of water, and we'll get started. By then it's going to be 1 o'clock, would you believe? So I'll probably get 3 hours of fishing in, maybe. All right, we've got a couple of inches more water down there now, so hopefully if I do get one, it'll be nettable. I've been putting ground bait out, like I said. Probably only got 3 feet of water out there, I guess. The tide's definitely coming in now, so I'm hoping that we'll be able to get this show on the road. I'll turn this camera on as well. Let's see how we go. Oh, had a bite already and I haven't even got this camera sorted out yet. Definitely a bump, didn't actually see it, I just saw the rod jumping around. There we go, look. Just get this properly zoomed in so you can see what's happening. Well, I've been sitting here for about, what, an hour or two, hour and a half, not fishing, so that wasn't good. Didn't realise it was quite so shallow down the edge here. I don't remember it being like that. Of course, tides are different. Some are higher than others. And so maybe the last time I came, it was a slightly higher low tide, if you like. Anyway, hopefully we'll be getting some fish about now. It's got to be something. Nope. Hell, shallow out there. Still got bait, so I'll keep trying. Could be what the Aussies call pickers. Small things that pick at your bait, but probably aren't big enough to get it in their mouth. Probably wait for a pull round next time. Tide's coming in quite quick, isn't it? This flats area. I know it's sort of hardly any incline to it, but look how that's got covered in water now in the last, what, 5-10 minutes? Gonna let it go round this time. Bit like that. Didn't actually go around, but hey, not a big fish. Well, not for the river anyway, I don't think. Hasn't taken any line, which is a bad sign. Oh, I lied. Let's just get a little bit more pressure on the clutch. It's set reasonably light at the moment. Which is actually heavier if you're on a commercial. But for here, this is light. This is a fairly tiny fish, actually. There's me thinking I might get something bigger. That first fish I had was probably 7 or 8 pounds, but it ended up covered in mud, and so did I, so I didn't show you that one. See if we can get some depth. It's still not all that deep, but at least it shouldn't ground itself this time. Couldn't wait any longer to fish. Obviously next time if I come here I'll need to judge the tides so that it's probably been coming in for an hour or so, and I can fish throughout the incoming and the outgoing tides without too much of a problem. There we are. Oof. Right, small fish. Well, he is small, isn't he? He's probably 3 pounds, which is what I kind of got used to catching. Oh, there you go, look, that's all he is. And he's got mud on him. Okay, I'm going to change the bait because I want to have some taste of the turmeric on, and by now it's probably been in for, what, 10 minutes or so, so worth changing baits. Stabs through quite easily, but you can tell it's much sturdier than Sweetcorn is. Oh, I've got too short a tail on this one. I might go for a longer hair shortly. This won't quite take 2 bits of chickpeas. And of course I've managed to stick on a bit of twig down there. Don't have platforms over here, guys. None of this comfort that you have. And that one was pretty immediate, wasn't it? By the looks of things, I may not need to fish that longer distance one with the heavy duty rod. That's alright, happy enough doing this. See if we do catch anything bigger today. I mean, I'm talking in the sort of anything £10 to £20 range, because that's what I came for in the end. And if I don't catch them at this sort of 17 turns, I think next time I fish here I'll go out to the 30 odd turns, and that's into the deeper water, which is what, 12 feet did I say, something like that out there. Not going to go right out into the 20 odd feet, because that's just too far to chuck when you're on a pleasure day. I'm just going to try 2 or 3 bits of corn on the hook before I change the hook to a longer length tail, just as you can see there, just 3 bits of corn, just to see, because I keep getting these little pluckers, but apart from that one fish so far, it's not going round properly. Is it just the bait? I will see this time around. Oh, that's looking like one to me. Well, it's definitely something. I've managed to take some line. Again, don't think it's all that big. Not like I wanted anyway. Nope, smallish fish, look. At least I got a little bit of water now. Maybe I do need to go into that deeper water for the bigger fish. If I get a chance I'll try it later, but failing that we'll do that another day. It's a good excuse for going fishing, isn't it? Yeah, smallish fish, look. How much depth have we got now? Not very much. Go over that way a little bit deeper there. Whoops. Come on. There we go. Yep, definitely going to have to come here at a different stage of the tide. Again, probably, I'd guess, £4 or so. Maybe not even that. No. 3-ish probably. It's not as though this is a short hair. If it'll take 3 bits of corn, not that short, but obviously I've got those longer ones which will take 5 or 6 pieces if I need them to. And what that means is it'll take 3 or 4 of the chickpeas. A bit of bait going in again now. Obviously I put that initial bait in, then I had to hang around, and even though I put a little bit in here and there, obviously it wasn't as regular as it is when you're fishing, so I'm hoping that this regular sort of every 3 to 5 minutes of things is going to build it up. But I think what I might do is cast in a couple of times and then just retrieve straight away again. Sounds like we've got an Australian Air Force F-18 jet about to go over us. That looks like a bite to me. Maybe not. Noisy though. Sometimes you get them really low over here. They come in pairs. Oh yes. I think this one's a bit bigger. We're having a few anyway, aren't we? Again, not that big, but I do find in the rivers they do seem to fight harder than ponds. Probably because they've got to keep up with the current, and it can get quite strong in these places. Well, he's the same kind of size again, but he's fighting better. He's caught around the back of his dorsal now. As I said before, they've got those serrated dorsal fins, which are like hacksaw blades. That's it, it's come loose. Please have it with your landing net. There we are. Oh, yep, exactly the same sort of size, look. I'm just going to go back to one chickpea, just to see, and then after that we'll give it a go on the longer hook length, longer hair length. Quite like these turmeric ones, so again we'll stick with those for now. It's turmeric in the ground bait. Get through a fair bit of ground bait this way. This feeder is not one of the bigger feeders I use, because this is just a normal rod, but on that other rod they're pretty massive. I'd say thick and fast, but not quite there yet, are we? Just goes to show what getting some regular feeder falls in can do. Just hope it continues. Again, same size. But you'd be building a weight and a match about now, wouldn't you? Whoa! Maybe he's a bit bigger than I first thought. Still on the same clutch settings, drag settings. Nope, I don't think he's all that much bigger. Maybe a little bit. I'm sure I've got mud on my face. Maybe a little bit bigger. Yeah, probably more like the £5 range this time. And that was on the chickpea, so just goes to show that chickpeas do work quite well. The good news about chickpeas is that they do seem to stay on the hook very well. As I say, they're a bit firmer than corn, so I think I'll see about getting a bit more sort of use out of this bait. Actually, tried the tin stuff and it's absolutely awful. It's too flimsy, doesn't stay together very well at all, especially on a hot day. It just falls apart. Well, no bite that time, and there's a boat coming up, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to reel in and I'm going to change that hook, like I said, and I'll start putting some decent sized baits on, like 5 or 6 bits of corn or 3 or 4 bits of these chickpeas. There we are then. I've got longer hair on. I should be able to get at least 3 chickpeas on, I reckon. Soon find out. A bit more of a bulky stop this time rather than those smaller ones, so I hope that doesn't split these things, but we'll soon find out. Well, it's gone through fine so far anyway. 1, 2, I should get 3 on, maybe. Even with this great big long hair, it's only getting a fairly small amount of these on. Right, well, I've got 3 on. Put those back. There we are, look. It's a fair old bait, isn't it? See how it goes. Oh, I felt something then, but missed it. Probably shouldn't have struck quite when I did, but alright. Still got the 3 bits of chickpeas on. Bites have slowed down since that initial burst, so maybe I will have to try that further out swim, although I have to admit I have kind of ignored it a little while I was doing this, so might need to do that another day and just continue with this just for today, see how this goes. Like I say, good excuse for coming back. Well, this isn't going well, is it? Putting the bigger baits on and the longer head doesn't seem to have got me any bites, but that just could be just one of those things. Current's starting to move out there a bit now. There's no movement down in front of me at all because it's so shallow and we're on the outside of a bend, but just past where I'm fishing there's definitely a current starting to pick up, and it's making things really, really muddy. It's like clouds of mud being generated. Oof, that was definitely a liner, wasn't it? Although, you know, I can feel something on the end of that. So much for me saying it was a liner. It was a little bit more slow and ponderous. At least we should have plenty of water beneath me now to land him. Not sure what we got here. Mind you, he hasn't got much water to play with, has he? So splashing on the top's not really that much of a surprise. And that egret was only up to his elbows about where we are there. It's not all that big. Oh. Come on. Yep, another one which is in the 4 pound range. He certainly had all the corn though. Just got one little shred left. I don't know how many that is now. What is it, 6 or 7 I suppose? Had some on the chickpeas. But at the moment they do seem to be preferring the corn. And again, that could just be me putting too much bait on. Right, that's 5. I'll go back and try it again. Whoa! That's got to be one, hasn't it? I was just looking back for my phone to see what the time was. That's just taken it off the line clip, which is more than the others have done, so is this one maybe a bit bigger? Right, he's right in the shallows now. There he is, just on the surface. Even in the winter these things really put up a good show, don't they? And jumped out the net. Why do they always do that here? Come on. Maybe a little bit bigger. Still not what we're looking for. Well, this one's a good £6. Nice chunky fish, these. Just hook that up a minute. Right. Really thick fish. Whoops. There we go, look. Isn't he nice? Not huge, but hey. It's £6, which is a bit more than I've been catching normally. How did I miss that? Yeah. Still got plenty of bait, so we get back out there. Slowed down a bit now. As I mentioned, we're probably on something like 8, 9 or 10 fish, I don't know exactly, but they kind of all came fairly quickly. It's a little bit of a slower spell. Oof! Is that on? That was a fair old wallop, wasn't it? Okay, a bit slowed down, so I'm just going to put 2 or 3 feederfuls of bait in and just strike it off so I can be sure that I've got plenty of bait down there. I was just about to stop for a cup of tea and the tip went boom. It's 2:30 now, so I've really been going for what, hour and a half, that's all. And well, I suppose whatever it is, somewhere around 10 fish is pretty reasonable for that sort of time. That's got a bit of bite, yeah. Just taking off the line clip again. Again, I still don't think he's all that big. You can tell the difference between a really big one and a fast one. Where is he? Oh, he's going that way now. That's what I like about this reel. I know I keep saying it, but you can have it clipped up and not worry about when a fish takes off. You're not going to get snapped up. You're just going to come out of the clip automatically. I wish they'd make some more reels, but they seem to have stopped making them now, apart from this one. They used to have them on all their range pretty much. They must have been out now for what, a good 12 years or so, maybe more. Maybe 14 actually. I think they patented it, which is obviously why others haven't gone into a similar sort of a thing. I think it takes 25 years for a patent to not evaporate, but someone to be able to use the same idea. Could be wrong, don't really know. Yeah, again, it's not the smallest one, but it's not the big one I was looking for. Although it is actually better than the ones I've had so far, I think. Oh, he's not bad. He's not bad. Still not going to give him any more than about 7 though. Just hook that up a second. Show you. Look, probably only 6.5 even. What have I got to do for a big one today? What's that, 11? We'll call it 11. Well, I got my cup of tea and I'm most of the way down it, and I haven't had a nudge or a bite or anything. It's gone totally dead. I don't think that's the state of the tide, because it's sort of, I don't know, was it an hour and a half, 2 hours into the incoming tide, so it'll be getting up to its quickest fairly shortly. But where I am, it's not actually. Oh, hang on, I think that might have been a yeah, cancel that, I lied. Just took a bit longer this time. I was hoping to be getting them a bit more thick and fast than this because I wanted to try the natural chickpeas. Ooh. Okay. I wanted to try the natural chickpeas, but obviously if I don't catch a fish on them, is it the chickpeas or is it just the fact that it's slowed down anyway? So, might give it a go, but I think I'm going to carry on with the corn just for now, because I am enjoying this. Didn't he go, eh? This is the middle of winter. And he's not all that big again. Amazing. All right. Thought he was done. Absolutely amazing how much power these things have got. We had a frost last night as well. Come on, in you go. At least there's plenty of water down there now for netting them. And he's probably one of those 4-pounders after all that. But it is definitely slowing down, so I don't know. So that'll be what, 12? Something like that. Right, I just had a quick look at the old clock there, and it's 3:02, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So I've been going for 2 hours. The sun's coming right around. It's going to be my eye line fairly shortly, so I think I'm going to give it another half an hour and then pack up and come back another day and try to go a bit further out and see if that produces bigger fish. But we've got half an hour, so let's see how we go. I'm sure that was pulling the reel backwards. I definitely felt something moving when my hand was on the handle there. This one's a little bit more sluggish. I think he'll probably wake up in a minute, this guy. Definitely fighting differently to the way the other ones did. He's off up to the left there. Is he bigger? I'm not convinced he is, but no, he's off to the right. Definitely slower, isn't he? Usually indicates bigger fish, but who knows? Yeah, he's definitely woken up a little bit there. Mind you, probably only still 18 inches or so deep. Maybe 2 feet now. This will be that 13th fish I was on about, won't it? Got to get past 13 before you go, Den. Get in the net. Oh dear, you're making the right mess of this then. Come on. This time. Yay. Got him. Oof. It was a bit more fun. Oh, I think this one's a bit bigger. Oh, it's pregnant. Oh, she's pregnant. Just I can get wet legs. We'll show you this one. Not a very long fish, but it's very, very full of spawn, look. And that's probably a good 8, maybe 9 pounds, which is better than we've done so far. I suppose now we've had that one, we've got to carry on for a while, haven't we? As I say, we've still got half an hour. Glad I came today though. Makes a change from catching tiny little fish. Surely that's a bite. Very bobbly, but they've come back. And this will be 14, of course. Always like to get the 14th one in after 13. Maybe I'm a bit superstitious after all. I've known times where I'm actually stuck on 13 for so long. The sun's really starting to come around to my eye line now. I don't think it's affecting you too much because you're more of an angle, but as I say, I think we'll give it till 3:30 and then call it quits. Come on. Don't go down the edge, just sticks down there. Can't get his head up, this guy. He doesn't want to come in, does he? Come on. Yay, 14. He's not bad, he's not one of those 4-pounders. Definitely bigger than that. He's he's actually 6 or 7-pounder. That's all right. He's lying on the line, which isn't helping. I will show you him actually, just very briefly. I mean, it's not a huge fish obviously, but very chunky, very thick fish. Look at that. Big old gob, so 4 or 5 bits of corn ain't gonna do him any difficulties. We'll get him back. Got a wet leg, and when it's cold, having a wet leg isn't much fun. But I am having fun, so I'll crack on for some more. 14. That's just coming up for 3:20, so I've got 10 minutes left. But it's gone slack again, or slow again, since the that last bite, that last fish, number 14. And the actual sun's coming around a bit, so I definitely will pack up at 3:30, but it just seems to be that you get a couple of fish and then it slows down, you get a couple of fish, it slows down. Just one of those things, I suppose. Well, it's been in for a few minutes now, and I'm still getting odd plucks and things like that, but no proper bites yet. And at the moment, this sun, which is coming across here, is making it quite difficult to fish. So no point in straining your eyes. In a minute, I'll bring this in and I'll call it quits. But with regards to the day, how did we do? Well, yeah, all right, wasn't it? I've been fishing for 2.5 hours. I had 14 fish so far, plus that one that I didn't count at the start, which you didn't see, because that would have been embarrassing. Haven't had anything massive, but they've been a good size and they give me a lot of sport. So more than happy with the way things have gone today. As for bait, it does seem that the Sweetcorn, as usual, has been the thing to do the job, although at the moment it doesn't seem to be doing it either. As for the chickpeas, don't know. Had 1 or 2 fish on them. Could it just be on the day? I don't know. Oh, look, more practice needed with them, I think, more testing needed. So next time we come down here, I'll bring those again, and we'll throw it out to that sort of 32, 35 meter line, something like that, where it's a lot deeper, and see what happened. But anyway, I think that's it for another one, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. I certainly have. Anyway, if you did, please click the like button. It always helps with the algorithm. If you want to subscribe, if you aren't already subscribed, that'd be great. And of course, if you want to contribute, that'd be much appreciated too. But till the next time then, because this ain't going round, I'm going home, and bye for now.